This is Candid Conversations with Dr. Mayfield, a podcast that resources families and friends with tools to have important conversations about mental and emotional health. This show is sponsored by Mayfield Counseling Centers, helping you find clarity, hope, and purpose. Here's your host, Trever Shirin.
Thank you for joining us today on Candid Conversations. I am joined by Dr. Mayfield, and today's going to be a little bit of a different episode just because we're going to talk about all of our friends and partners.
And our favorite things that we like and that kind of stuff.
The resources in our community that we've worked with before and how you can engage with them as well.
I know I like this because it gives us a chance to do some shout outs to some great organizations, also some great resources and great things maybe that aren't in Colorado Springs, but you can get, and a lot of our listeners aren't in Colorado Springs either. So,
and if you're new to this show, we'll start by plugging Mayfield Counseling Centers.
That'd be a good start.
Which is
that'd be good.
The official sponsor of Candid Conversations, also the company that Dr. Mayfield founded with his wife and that I work with as well.
Right. We are currently in two centers. If you're in Colorado Springs and you know the area, we have one up in north off of Voyager and Middle Creek. And we have one here where we're at right now off of Academy and Lehman. But we also have a desire to really impact our community, and we're hoping that by this time next year, we'll have a third center out on the east part of town, which is, I was talking to somebody yesterday going, that's going to be the center of town here shortly.
Yeah.
And the Powers corridor with like the 60 to 70,000 homes that are going in over the next 4 or 5 years out there. There's no mental health facilities out there.
There's really nothing out there.
Yeah, it's a bunch of houses. It's Banning Lewis Ranch that extends forever. So that's our desire, but we have to make sure that it's the right time and we have the right funds around it. But our desire is to really see our community find clarity, hope, and purpose in what we're doing.
And so through Mayfield Counseling Centers, we've had the wonderful opportunity of being able to develop partners to care for this community that we live in and that we love. And I don't know where we want to start as far as
how about we popcorn it and you tell me your favorite and then I'll go, or we'll just
favorite?
No, I shouldn't do favorite.
I'm just going to do the one that pops into my head first.
Okay, I'll do my second one, not favorites.
So we've partnered with Education for a Lifetime, and we did an episode somewhat recently about our Who Can Relate curriculum. Education for a Lifetime, they do sex education, our Who Can Relate curriculum.
Comprehensive sex education.
Yes.
I'll make sure we put that out there.
David Galvan is a muse at speaking and training. He was on our show doing the Let's Talk About Sex, Baby.
That was a year
episodes.
ago.
Yeah, it was a while ago.
Yeah.
But they are amazing. And
tell us about the Who Can Relate, just so what our listeners.
So Who Can Relate is a upstream suicide prevention curriculum for high schoolers, but also for organizations, churches, small groups, whatever it is, asking 3 questions: who needs you, who loves you, and where do you find your value? And the thought behind it is we believe that if somebody can answer those questions well, their risk of suicide is going to be dramatically deterred, or they're going to be less likely to be suicidal.
And I think the beautiful thing about this too is that we, in the last year and a half, have gotten into, or not even a year and a half, we piloted it last year. So the fall has really been the first full year that we've done it. And I think we're in like 30 some odd schools.
Yeah.
And several districts in Colorado Springs. I mean, the hope would be that we would get nationwide, but right now. So if you are in an area that you think this would benefit, let us know. Email us at candid@mayfieldcounseling.com. We can have somebody reach out to you to talk about this curriculum. So my one, fresh on my mind because I've been working through it, is the Alive to Thrive curriculum. Which is you're one of the stars of that one. But the Alive to Thrive curriculum is partnership with Focus on the Family, and it is a even farther upstream, I think, than Who Can Relate. But it's a curriculum to help churches, organizations, small groups, families figure out this whole mental health suicide piece. And the reason I'm proud to talk about that is that my recent, well, it's not yet published, but my book on self-injury and suicide is through that curriculum, and really a desire to get that out to the nations on how to help teens who are struggling with self-injury and suicide. And it does a fantastic job. AliveToThrive.com is the website, and it's a series of videos. It's a series of questions and answers and vignettes and that kind of stuff. It's not something that you can sit down and look at for, in 10 minutes and get it. It's something that's meant to be in community, in curriculum with a group of people. So I love that.
Another individual that I want to shout out to is Storyteller Creative.
Yes.
Gabe Jacobson is a videographer that we work pretty closely with, who just does incredible work. He was a part of our Who Can Relate filming. He's done different projects for us in the past, including in correlation with the Springs Mental Health Summit. His ability to sit with somebody and craft a story through film is beautiful, and it's been really cool. I've known him for several years now, and it's been amazing to see him find his skill and to develop that. I'll put the link in the description for him.
We'll put all the links for our partners in there. Another one of mine is Safe to Tell. I know that the founder of Safe to Tell, Susan Payne, is no longer a part of it in the country or in our state, but she is now doing some freelance work with Safe Schools, Safe Families, consulting across this country on how to help keep our kids safe. But Safe to Tell is a fantastic resource. If you don't know about it, it's beginning to, I think, take the country by storm. But it's a text in kind of a crisis line where you as a friend says, my friend, my buddy is not doing well and they won't go get help, but I need them to get help. And so I'm going to text their name and their address and their phone number, and police, EMT, the school are all called to do a safety check. And it saves lives. It saves thousands of lives.
And if you want more information on that, we did do a podcast episode about it last year. And I think it was just titled Safe to Tell.
Yeah, it's safe. And then the number 2 tell.org.
Yeah. Another one that we are really excited about is the Springs Mental Health Summit, which is our annual event in partnership with New Life Church that essentially brings a lot of the training that we get as therapists on how to care for people and brings it down to a level that is both understandable and applicable and actionable for parents or teachers or friends or neighbors to be able to care for the people around them. And so we had Dr. Caroline Leaf at our conference last year, and I believe that she confirmed for this year as well.
Yep. It'll be November 2nd, 8:30 to 4:30, which is a Saturday. So save the dates. I think right now our super early bird, no, I'm not sure what we are. Go to springsummit.org and find out. You can actually sign up now for, I think, a discounted price.
Yep.
If not, you can use the code Mayfield, MAYFIELD, to get 25% off. And that's anytime up until the day of the conference. But she'll be back in the morning, and then we'll have breakouts and TED Talk types things to equip us.
Yeah. So if you have a heart for those who are struggling with mental health, or you just want to, you're listening to this podcast about how to build a relationship and how to have meaningful conversations. And so if you have enjoyed the content that we have here, this conference is something that would be really an exciting opportunity for you.
Yeah, absolutely. I think another one to plug is this podcast.
Yeah.
I like this podcast a lot. We have a lot of fun doing it. And I think sometimes we get so caught up in our own lives and our own circles that we forget to share. And so my thought is, what would it be like for you as our listeners to share this podcast with at least 4 or 5 friends that you think might benefit from it? Not only does it help grow our reach, but it also benefits them personally with the content.
Yeah. And on that note, this is kind of a sidetracking thing, but I read something the other day that was really pretty impactful. And they were talking about when we're having discussions with friends and they bring up that they haven't read a classic novel or something that...
Does your jaw drop?
Yeah. And our typical response is like unbelief, and I can't believe you haven't read that, and kind of this almost shaming conversation. And what this person was advocating for was instead saying, oh, you're in for a treat if you choose to read this, because it's so good, and I'm excited for you if you choose to engage with it.
So say that for us.
Say that for us, of instead of, oh, I can't believe you haven't heard about it, which, I mean,
most people haven't.
Right.
Yeah. You're lucky. You're a lucky few.
Yeah. And instead saying like, oh, you're in for a treat. This is something that's been really impactful, or whatever you want to say, and eliciting excitement for what's to come, I think is a really cool way to go about that kind of recommendation.
Yep. I agree.
Because I hate being told what to do.
No, I do too.
So like when somebody says you have to read this book, I'm like,
or feeling shamed into it.
Yeah. I'm not going to now.
Another one is drleaf.com.
Yeah.
She's not in Colorado Springs, but she's in Dallas. Her resources are fantastic. She's got a YouTube channel, a podcast. Her podcasts are like 10 minutes long. Brilliant.
Yeah.
But her resources, Switch on Your Brain. I mean, man, you are in for a treat if you haven't read that yet.
Nice.
So Switch on Your Brain.
I'll plug Dr. Mayfield, since
nice.
That is a little less shameless than him doing it. Dr. Mayfield does a lot of trainings in state and out of state, and he has one training called the Messy Embrace that I've had the opportunity to join him in, and that is like an intensive of how to care. And if you're a pastor or a teacher or someone in leadership, I would highly recommend inquiring about Dr. Mayfield coming to train your team on the Messy Embrace. Or if you're in town, we also have a whole curriculum of trainings that we can do in town to equip your team or your community in mental health.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's good. Even if you're out of state, we can come and do that too.
Yeah, that's true.
That's going to be good. Let's see. What else?
We have 2 YouTube channels. We've got the Candid Conversations YouTube channel, which you may be on right now if you aren't just listening to us. And then we also have a Mayfield Counseling Center's YouTube channel, where we are working at slowly developing the Mayfield Academy with training videos. Just more opportunities to equip you through free resources.
Yeah, more time in the day would be nice.
That would be wonderful.
To do that.
If you know how to extend time, let us know. That'd be great.
Another shout out would be Perkins Motors.
Yeah.
David Perkins is on our board, and he is a fantastic individual. But, we love small town, hometown places. And so Perkins Motors is not this big old chain, but you can go and buy a Jeep. I heard there's a new. I'm speaking to somebody that's
Talk to the audience, not
car
to
blind.
me.
But David was saying there's this new Jeep truck coming out called the Gladiator in a couple months, which would be kind of fun to see. But he also does Dodge and that kind of stuff. But real neat guy, full of integrity. The business has been around for over 70 years, so go check him out.
Yeah, I am drawing a blank. There's one more that I can think of. Overdrive Raceway.
Oh, yes.
We've joined with them in the past to do our Race for Hope event, and we are still in the process of deciding when that's going to be this year. But this is an event where we get law enforcement and the fire department together, and we race go-karts, Italian go-karts. And what Overdrive has done, which has been amazing, is they give all of those proceeds to us on the day of the event for our scholarship to help our community. Jim and James over there, they have a heart for this community. They have a heart for the suicide epidemic that we've been experiencing over the years. And it's been cool to be able to partner with people of like mind and like heart to have an impact on our community.
Absolutely. I don't know. Any favorites that we haven't talked about? Maybe not that we're partnering with, but
I'm trying to think about it. I mean, I could go on for like several episodes about all of the local places in the Springs
that we like. Yeah,
that's irrelevant to this conversation.
Well, maybe we call it quits today.
Yeah. And if you work for an organization that you think belongs on this list, we'd love to talk to you.
Absolutely.
Feel free to reach out to us. We are always looking to make partners, and we believe truly that we're better together than we are apart. Mm-hmm. And in this community, it's going to take everyone doing their own share of the work to have the impact that we're looking for.
Absolutely.
Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for joining Candid Conversations. If you would like more information, you can email candid@mayfieldcounseling.com or call 719-452-4803.